Hi, everybody. My nose really itches. I'm sorry. I hope you're having a very good day. Normally, I do these videos on Tuesday. I did not do this on Tuesday. It has nothing to do with all the Marines and National Guard and no, that's none of that. In fact, on this drive, you're going to see a very peaceful city. It's not as full-blown, full-on city on fire that you hear in the news. It's confined to very specific areas around buildings where people are being detained, and there's not a piece of this that's not creepy. Every bit of it is creepy. I'm very proud of our governor. I think he's handling it very well. I'm horrified that Marines are being deployed against U.S. cities. This is so let's get woo-woo about this. America is experiencing its Pluto return. What that means, for those of you who don't do any astrology stuff, you probably have heard of a Saturn return, which happens every 27 years. And that is when a planet gets back to where it was when the person, or in America's case, the nation, was born. Something interesting about Pluto return is, why is that guy flashing his brights? Is something wrong? Uh-oh. Well, it wouldn't be the first time. Probably won't be the last. Somebody tries to signal me non-verbally that something's weird. So if you look at histories of various countries, empires, you will see that when their Pluto return happens, they collapse. The big empires last about 250, 270 years, and then they go kaput. And that is Pluto return, hard at work. Saturn return, you're probably more familiar with if you've ever heard of the 27 Club, and you see how many famous musicians, don't make it past 27. Let me just adjust that a little bit. So that's a Saturn return, and if you're lucky, you have maybe 3 of those in your life. I'm currently going through my second Saturn return, and it's at times uncomfortable. I've had to get real with myself about a lot of things, trying to reshape my attitude and look at the world from a different perspective. These returns aren't all bad. There are good things. I started this YouTube channel during a Saturn return, and I'm enjoying it. And here we are a couple minutes in. If you're still here, hopefully you're enjoying it, because I'm just having a good time, and I feel less lonely than I did before. Maybe I'm talking to nobody, but honestly, I appreciate everybody who decides to participate in this channel. So we go up the street every week. The day we're doing it Thursday this week because my client needed to change his schedule, not because of any nefarious, geopolitical bullshit. If if you're listening to this at work, shame on you. Because I just let it rip. And that's just who I try really hard not to swear. But swearing is my love language. And, you know, that's the story. That's the reality. So, yeah, that's where we're going. So I had a bad news bears moment about a week and a half ago where one of my clients cut my hours, it really bummed me out. It really did. And I've just been trying to be relaxed in my mind about it. You know, I tell myself, hold the reins loosely. You know, gripping tighter doesn't make anything easier or better. Just, it's gonna be okay. And one of my other clients called and said, I need you to do bookkeeping for this other business I have. And from the sound of it, it could more than replace the hours that got cut. And I chalk that up to my mindset, my just relaxing and not freaking out and being open to new opportunities. So put that in your manifestation pipe and smoke it. I don't even know what that means. But I'm relieved. I'm back in the saddle on that score. I've been putting off working on another client's account because a client will do anything in their power to drag their feet about paying the bill, and they didn't even look at the invoice, and I got a notification that said this hasn't been reviewed yet. And I thought, oh, maybe there's a technical problem. So I sent them a PDF copy of the invoice, and I get a mail that says, oh, I've been traveling. I just haven't had time to look at this. But do you think you could itemize your work? I can understand itemizing work in certain circumstances, but it tells me he didn't even look at his chart of accounts, because his chart of accounts was like this, and now his chart of accounts is like this. If I wanted to copy and paste it, I couldn't. It would be pages and pages long, because I was sorting the expenses. So I gave him a brief itemization, and maybe he's going to pay the bill, or maybe he's going to take another couple days to, you know, feel some kind of way about it. But it made me so mad because, you know, as a business owner, if it was my circumstance, I would want to know that the work I was paying for was getting done. But I would look at the work and see with my eyes, and evaluate the quality of the work. And that's me. And this guy has hired me because he doesn't know what I do. He doesn't know how to do what I do. So maybe just looking isn't gonna work for him. Ugh. But man, I got so mad. I just felt like it was not appropriate for him, the way he said it. And I thought, oh my God, it'll take me another hour to summarize the work I did. I mean, you know, I don't, and what told me was, if this is how I feel about it, this is the big secret. When you're pricing your time, this is what I know. If it makes you mad to do something, you're probably not charging enough. And I would be very happy to itemize my bill. if I was charging probably double what I'm currently charging. So I know that I'm not charging enough. And yet I charge him the same amount I charge all my other clients. So I certainly can't double my price. That's wrong. But maybe across the board I need to look at a rate increase. I have not raised my prices in probably 4 or 5 years. And given all the economic BS we've been doing, I probably need to reevaluate that. And if I made enough money, I could hire somebody to do his stupid account. Then I don't even have to look at it. He could just, not pay me, so I could not pay the assistant. It's just bad. It's just bad. So we are still on, I think officially it's still called Crescent Heights at this point. We just passed Wilshire, and there's been no unrest. I see no unrest. I see no cops shooting rubber bullets at journalists, because that is a thing. I met a woman the other night, nice person. She was on her way to Houston, and she is a journalist, and she said that her colleagues who are covering what's going on downtown, if the cops see you have a camera, they level a gun at you and shoot you. Rubber bullets, but they're shooting journalists, which I have a bad feeling about that. And we're in a new world. It used to be the revolution will not be televised. Listen, kids, this revolution is being live streamed, and you can't stop it. That is that. We have the technology, and oh, your body cam turned off? Oopsie, that's okay, because somebody nearby has their iPhone and it is pointed right at you, buddy. So, there's a lot of, we're in such a weird time. It'll be interesting to see how things pan out. So far, everything looks pretty quiet out here. I had a big breakthrough with my writing. I have a log line. I know the beginning. I know the end. I sort of know the middle point. Once I know the middle point, everything else is. And I keep feeling like this script is going to be easy. And then every time I think that, I get a little nervous. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be hard. It's allowed to be easy if it wants to be easy. And it's just a first draft. This is how I talk to myself, by the way. This whole vlog is how I talk to myself. But this is how I coach myself through shitty thinking. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just get the first draft done. And I tend to want to get everything just so it's obnoxious, and I use it as an excuse to not move forward. So one day I realized I'm never going to write perfect pages. I'm never going to write the thing that never needs to be rewritten. That's not going to happen. The perfect pages are not going to happen. So why don't you write the shittiest pages possible? Just write the worst pages you possibly could. Just get it out of your system. Which became hilarious to me because it turns out it's just as hard to write perfectly shitty pages as it is to write perfectly perfect pages. And somehow that struck me as hilarious. And it was exactly what I needed to do to break up the cement of my thinking. It just freed me up. And I just went to town writing quote unquote shitty pages. I wrote, like, the first time I did it, I wrote like 10 shitty pages. And then when I reviewed those pages, after a little break, I came back, I reviewed those pages. I think I kept like 8 of the pages. That was really pretty impressive. So, so I don't try to write perfect pages anymore. I just try to just loosen up and have fun. Just enjoy what I'm doing. And I'm very excited. I've started writing my index cards. I am a plotter, not a pantser. I think we've discussed this. My friend is a pantser. I tried using her technique, and it made just a horrible hash of things for me. So I need fences so I don't, fly off the handle and go crazy. Okay, so here we are. We are deep in West Hollywood right now. We are at, I think it's still called Crescent Heights. I think when we cross Santa Monica here, it becomes Laurel Canyon. I still don't see any nonsense. We're still not on fire. We're doing okay. Oh, well, this was the quickest light ever. We're not going to make the light. Oh, Waymo. Thank you, Waymo. So, yeah, very calm, very quiet. There's pedestrians out there. Unafraid of the world that we are in. We're not near any of the federal buildings or detention centers. Yes, and Los Angeles is a big, big place. It's one of the biggest cities by square miles. It's so spread out and huge. But everything is calm and quiet and peaceful. So far, we don't need the Marines, not on this street. Yeah, I hope this gets resolved quickly and quietly. I'm very disturbed. I keep thinking, America, it was nice while it lasted. And I think really, regardless of what's going on, regardless of where you sit on the whole spectrum from, ultra conservative to super left-wing liberal, I go back to this too shall pass. The instruction was the king wanted something engraved on the ring that would be true in all situations. And the jeweler came back with the ring, and carved into it was this too shall pass. Which is very comforting during hard times. But it should be a focus on the good times too. Because this too shall pass. And as beautiful as life is, everything changes. And the snapshot you have in your mind of how things should be, is it really how things should be, or is it just your fond memory of how things were? I think why holiday celebrations get so uptight is I think that there's an unhealthy dose of nostalgia. I think a little nostalgia is nice. It should be like the sprinkles on top of your little ice cream. It should not be a bowl of fucking sprinkles. That's not the main thing. You're not allowing for new experience to happen if all you want is to have things just so, or the holiday is ruined. And you see people go to war over whether or not they're doing green bean casserole this year. Or how are you doing the yams? Everybody's got an opinion on how this stuff should go. And they want to be in control of the experience. And we get back to hang on to the reins loosely. Let things happen. Let things happen. So, MAGA, we will never make America great again because we can't agree on what is the greatness. It feels, from my perspective, that any time before the civil rights movement is in the right direction. And Gavin Newsom said maybe it's the 18th century, and he might be right about that. So stop looking over your shoulder and look forward. Look ahead. Lot's wife turned to a pillar of salt because she looked behind her. What is the myth where the guy goes down to Hades to get his girlfriend back, and you can have her as long as you don't turn around? And right as they get to the opening of the cave, he turns around to see if she's still behind him, and he watches her float away back down to Hades. We lose a lot when we spend too much time looking behind us. And one day, all of this that's happening will be a memory. And how you talk about it and how you feel about it will be important to the storytelling of it, but it's not going to be the total reality of it. Because how everybody sees it and experiences it is different based on who they are and what their life perspective is. So that's what I say about that. I don't really want to talk about politics. That's not, there are other people who are better equipped to analyze and what have you. I am willing to philosophize. That I can discuss. That I'm willing to be open about. Because I'm willing to explore alternative perspectives and see how I can grow or learn or develop from them. A year from now, it's going to be a totally different story. This will be a blip, or it'll be the beginning of something bigger. But whatever's happening right now is literally just a moment, and we don't know the magnitude of it until we get some distance. And that's that. So here we are. We've reached Lookout Mountain. To my right is Harry Houdini's home. Okay, well, I will turn if you let me, Tesla. buddy. How much of the road do you need? Here we are. So, this perspective of the city is peaceful and quiet. It's just goofy drivers, per usual. Nothing unusual about that. And yeah, here's where we are. So we're gearing up for the weekend. I don't know what you're going to do for the weekend. I'm going to go see my friend Julia's house on Sunday. She moved, and then she went to France for a wedding. And then she got back and she's still unpacking. Buddy, you didn't even make a full and complete stop. You could just hold on to your jock for a second. So I know that that's happening on Sunday. Woo! And then I don't know what date it is, but I want to go see that new Pixar movie with my niece and nephew and sister-in-law. So I got to figure that out too. And that's everything that I know that I'm doing. I hope you're planning something fun. It should be picnic or barbecue times. I got to get tranquilizers for the cats for 4th of July. I know we're a little early to worry about that. Wow, that's a big ass truck. Perhaps, sir, you needed to be somewhere else. Yeah. So I don't really have anything else to say other than I hope you're having a very good day. I hope that you enjoyed this ride with me. If you're still here, you are the best. You're the best of everybody. Those other people are quitters. Okay. All right, have a good one. I'll talk to you later. Bye.